Hi, I'm Tyler, and this is The Sharpshooter, teaching you valuable skills to make better videos. So here on YouTube, I've noticed something kind of obvious. There are thousands of production gurus here to talk about equipment, cameras, lenses, the latest and greatest stuff, and even myself, I'm a bit guilty of that too in my previous videos. Now, it's easy to talk about this stuff because really in the last 50 years, there haven't been a lot of changes in how we make videos. I mean, if you think about it, there's cameras, lights, microphones, and all we're really doing is capturing light and sound. And that's the key to think about. Production, in the simplest form, is really about capturing light and sound. So if that's production, what exactly is producing? Well, in my opinion, producing is developing content and making conscious decisions in how that content is presented. But on YouTube, you don't really see a lot of producers talking about their craft and what it takes to do their job. Usually producing is something learned in a college class or on the job at a TV station or a production house. So this reminds me of a friend of mine from college. I remember during a class, she told our professor that she wanted to be a TV producer. And he took her seriously, but he asked her, "Why do you want to produce? Anyone can produce." And for the most part, that's true. I mean, we see video content all the time, stuff that's produced really well, stuff that's really sloppy. But the key is, it takes a special skill to produce well. Now, there's two things I think about when I'm producing a video, whether it's big or small. The first one is the message or the story. And the second thing are the elements or the way I present the message or story. Now, the story or message is what you want the viewer to take away when they watch the video. And that's key. You have to stay in the viewer's perspective, but that can be difficult when you're starting out. Now, honestly, it takes a lot of time and experience to really understand what it means to think and view your content from a viewer's perspective. Now, it's easy to lose sight on what it means to be in the viewer's perspective. You're focused on the camera, the lighting, the location, the talent, all these different things. But the most important thing is how your viewers perceive your video and how to connect with them. Really think about that for a second. So once you've grasped that concept, the next thing to think about are the elements, or how you present your story. Elements are like the tools and tactics that you decide to use to help you tell your story. Now, if you think about it, so many stories are essentially the same, but how that story is presented is what makes it exciting, memorable, or compelling. So what are examples of elements? Let's start with how the story is told. Are you using a host or a narrator? Are you deciding to tell the story from a first-person point of view, a third-person point of view, or maybe some other form? Another element could be a nugget. So a nugget is something like a statistic, a number, a fact, some sort of information to help tell the story and give it background and context. Now, you can use nuggets to help the viewers better understand your message or to emphasize certain points to tell the story. Now, I'm going to give you a specific example. Let's say you were making a documentary on the Titanic. Nuggets might be information like, how much money did it take to build the ship? Or how long did it take to build the ship? Or how many passengers were on board? Those points might not be critical to the story you're telling, but they might help paint the picture. One way you can present these nuggets are through graphics. Now, graphics may be pictures or illustrations, or perhaps a map or a text box or a number on screen. It's really anything that can visually supplement the story. So graphics are very effective when they're paired with other elements. If you have a host introducing a show, for example, it might be great to have a graphic that says their name, their location, and their title. Now, if you want to see this in practice, just watch any local news program. Within the show, you're going to see several maps, pictures, text boxes, all kinds of graphics. And they use them because it gives the viewer a visual cue to better understand the story. Now, there's lots of other elements you can include in a video as well. Maybe it's music or visual effects. There's a lot of different options you can do to help supplement your video. But let's pause for just a second. So we've talked about producing, production, graphics, nuggets, content, all these different things I'm throwing at you. But you might be wondering, how do I take those concepts and production, or the camera and lights and audio of the video, and how do I bring all that together in a complete form? And the answer is editing. Now, I like to think of editing as the bridge between producing and production. So examples of editing can be using a piece of software to piece a show together, or maybe use a video switcher to make selections on what the audience sees from different camera angles or different graphics. Or maybe it's just as simple as adding something, deleting something. Anything that you're making a decision on how the story is visually told. Now, editing can certainly set the tone of a video, but more importantly, it sets the pace, or the perceived speed of the viewing experience. Think about that for a second. I'm sure you've seen a 2-minute video that felt like a 10-minute video. Or you've seen a 3-hour movie that felt like a roller coaster that just went right by. Now that's pacing, and it's something that's difficult for a lot of beginners to understand and control. A lot of times they're just thinking, I need to fill time and make my video a certain length. Maybe you're a new TV producer and you're trying to fill a 30-minute time slot. You need 22 minutes of content, but after you've edited everything together, you've only got 15 minutes. What are you going to do with the remainder of time? Or maybe you're cutting a highlight reel of a big event. The event lasted 3 hours, but the highlight reel only needs to be about 10 minutes. How are you going to cut all that time? Pacing can be so simple, yet so difficult to control. In fact, we're going to have a separate video just talking about pacing in a bit more detail. This might seem like a lot to grasp, but it's okay, because you can see examples of it virtually anywhere. That's one thing I've always told people about how I love working with video, because I can get inspiration from just anything if I open my eyes. I can watch a TV show, a movie, a documentary, a social media ad, a commercial. Anything can give you an idea on how something is produced and whether it's produced well or not so well. So next time you watch a video, think about how it's produced. If you can master production and producing, you'll be unstoppable. You'll have so many opportunities for video production that anyone will want to work with you. And that's a great position to be in, because a lot of people are just stuck in production or producing. But there's a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of successful people that know how to do both, and that will set you up for great success. So if you learned something today, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm Tyler, and this is The Sharpshooter, teaching you valuable skills to make better videos. Thanks for watching.